This is Gates, New York police officer Mike Furia. For those of you not familiar with Gates, New York, or the general Rochester, New York area, Gates, New York is a town right next to Rochester, New York. Basically, it's a suburb of Rochester, New York. And perhaps you have seen a video which I recently published of Tyshawn Jones, and it basically shows Tyshawn Jones' last hours. As many of you may know, Tyshawn Jones is the 29-year-old young African American man who was going through some mental health crisis and was shot and killed by Rochester, New York police officer Matthew Drake. Tyshawn Jones was actually shot 5 times in front of the Open Door Mission in downtown Rochester, New York. The video that I posted recently shows Tyshawn Jones outside an apartment building in Gates, New York, and that is where Gates, New York police officer Mike Furia comes in. As you can see, the video begins with Officer Furia's body cam rolling. This is the footage. And as you'll see, he's going to drive up to this tall complex here, this tall building. Again, it's an apartment building. It's called Dunn Tower. It's off of, it's right on Lyle Avenue, actually, in the town of Gates, again. So what brought Officer Furia here is there was a call for a man trespassing on the property. And, I'm not going to break down the whole video. You should watch it if you haven't seen it. But basically, this man right here that you see talking to Officer Furia is the building superintendent. And, he basically, or the building, somebody called, and they didn't want Tyshawn Jones on the property. And, at the moment, a lot of people thought he was homeless. By now, if you've seen the other videos I've posted, we all know that Tyshawn Jones wasn't necessarily homeless. In fact, he lived very close nearby. He lived in Gates, New York with his mom. And very, very sad story, as many of you know. The reason that I wanted to make this video is because, especially in a time like this where we're hearing so much, it seems back to back to back stories of police officers engaging in misconduct, in corruption, abusing citizens, killing citizens. It just seems like we need a feel-good story, right? And even though this is a very tragic and sad case, and obviously Tyshawn Jones was killed um, just a few hours after this footage that you're looking at right now. Um, it's a good story that I wanted to put out there. Let me say this real quick. YouTube is it's an interesting platform. I have videos with over 700,000 views. Um, of my right to record. As many of you know, I'm a very big proponent and supporter, obviously, of the right to record, the First Amendment right to record, especially police officers. And so some of my videos have hundreds of thousands of views. And yet it seems like whenever I put out a video like this one right here, it doesn't do those numbers. And if I could trade the numbers of one of my right to record videos um, with this video and put those amount of views on this video, I would do it, because this is a type of story that I think everyone needs to see. Not only Tyshawn's story, most importantly, because it um, it really puts you know, a spotlight on mental health, right? Tyshawn again was experiencing some sort of mental health crisis. In the video, actually, he makes some comments of some mental health issues, and again, you could see that for yourself, in this video right here, uh, of him with Officer Furia. But back to the reason of why I wanted to post this video is I want to personally thank Officer Fura as someone whose father, many of you know my dad committed suicide. Obviously, mental health is something that's very close to me, and a lot of people are very insensitive to it. You know, a lot of people, kind of, you know, turn their backs on issues like this and on people like Tyshawn. And the fact that Officer Fura was so kind, so compassionate, uh, showed Tyshawn respect, right? He didn't treat him, differently. And he knew he's a trained police officer, and he knew early on. In fact, he makes a comment to a second officer that was there that arrived shortly after Officer Fura arrived. He makes a comment that Tyshawn, was, you know, showing some signs of some mental health issues. And so, but he didn't treat him any differently. And that is why I want to make this video to thank Officer Fura, again, from the Gates, New York Police Department, for showing this young man. And of course, Officer Fura had no way of knowing what would happen just a few hours later, but for showing Tyshawn Jones that compassion, right? That empathy, just that of a human being. You know what I mean? For treating him like a human being. You'll see in the video. See right now, he's grabbing some boots here that he helps Tyshawn Jones, who was barefoot, and basically he was not going to be allowed access into the shelter. This is a homeless shelter in the city of Rochester, New York, a few miles away from where Officer Fura responded. And so, very, very good video. You should watch it. And again, the important thing here is we need more police officers like Officer Fura. Very professional, very kind, and showed Tyshawn again so much compassion in this video. And again, it's just a feel good story. We need to see more of these stories and need to see more police officers handling situations, especially situations like this with someone, who's mentally ill. Um, we need to see more of this. And that's why I'm putting this video on my platform here on this channel, on Davey VTV. And again, just more officers should strive to be like Officer Fura, to handle a situation in the way that he's handling this one. You know what I mean? The way he's handling this situation here. Um, and again, just a thank you to Officer Fura, again, Gates, New York Police Department. And, it's sad to see this video. Tyshawn Jones actually has the same exact clothes that he has on in the video uh, where he is, again, not long after this footage right here was filmed. Tyshawn Jones was shot and killed 5 times. And, I know Chief Van Brederode from the Gates, New York Police Department. And I just wanted the chief to know, Chief, you got a good cop here in Officer Mike Fura. And I know you got some good men and women on the force. And again, just great job to Officer Fura for showing this young man the compassion and for being kind to him. Great job, Officer Fura. Great job.